Hey, what's up, guys? It's Russo and Jordy with Backdoor Fantasy Sports. This is our daily show. We're going to be covering the NBA slate for April 24th, Wednesday. We only have 2 games. Should be a lot of fun, though. It's playoffs. It's been a little bit tricky understanding these rotations so far, but we're excited to keep it rolling. Thanks to Jordy for covering for me yesterday for my anniversary. My wife and I enjoyed having the day off and just spending some time together. So it was great. Also, some exciting news. Yesterday, we partnered up with Sleeper. So maybe you saw the post, but they're offering a huge promotion for our viewers. 100% deposit match up to $500. So $500 gets you $1,000 to play with total. So you can, obviously you don't have to use the whole 500, but it's tough to not want to get as much of that as possible since you're getting that deposit match. Just use code BACKDOORFS. So they couldn't give us backdoor alone, so we had to go with the FS at the end there. So don't forget to add that, just think fantasy sports. So backdoor FS, one word. There's a link in the description of the video if you guys want to sign up. We're going to be covering plays in our Discord, and then slowly we'll be integrating it into our videos as soon as we can. And very excited for that, especially since we've got the NFL draft coming up. Going to be covering some dynasty and redraft fantasy football content soon. So yeah, if you guys haven't signed up for Prize Picks or Underdog, for Prize Picks, use the promo code at the bottom of the screen. They'll give you a deposit match. For Underdog, just use code BACKDOOR. And they're going to give you a deposit match and some instant pick'em specials. They already have some discounts on the board today too. So you'll get some discounted plays in addition to that if you are signing up and using code BACKDOOR. And there's a link in the description for all of those if you guys are looking to sign up. So these are the plays we're covering today for Prize Picks and Underdog. On Prize Picks, I'm going with Herbert Jones, over 2.5 assists, and DeLon Wright over 2.5 assists as well. And then on Underdog, I'm going to be taking Herb Jones over 7 rebounds and assists because they don't have his assists alone on here. I do like the rebounds and assist combo though at 7 personally. And then DeLon Wright, I'm going with 5.5 points. I'm taking both of those for more on Underdog. What are you getting into, Jordy?
Yeah, so for Prize Picks, I'm taking Jonas Valanciunas for over 11.5 rebounds, and then I'm taking Caleb Martin for over 8 points. On Underdog, we're getting this a half a point lower, so I'm taking his points at 7.5, and then I'm taking Valanciunas rebounds assists for over 13.5. If they bring his rebounds back at 12, I had his rebounds as well over there, but they took it away. If it comes back at 12, I'll be taking that instead, but I do like the rebounds and assists as well.
All right. Sounds good. Did you want to go over a recap?
Yeah, so in the night video that me and you did together, I took Jay Crowder's 3-pointer. He didn't get this done. Everyone in the Discord was laughing at me because they were like telling me the night before that he wasn't going to do it. And he did it. He did not do it. So he did not hit his 3-pointer. And then in the video I made, I took Bradley Beal's fantasy score. The Suns had a pretty rough performance, and Bradley Beal did as well. I think he went like 0 for 6 in the first half. He brought it back a little bit in the second half, ending with 14 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists. But he didn't get close enough for his fantasy score because he didn't have any. Like I was talking about his defensive upside, he had no blocks or steals, so that really kind of crushed his fantasy score there. He went for 23.8. We took him for over 34. And then the Luka offensive rebound, he didn't do a whole lot of rebounding last night. That's kind of why his PRA taco missed. But he didn't get one offensive rebound. I thought that was kind of crazy. But yeah, so 0-2 on the video. That's my bad. We'll get it back today, though.
Yeah, the only play I had was the Zubats 11.5 rebounds and assists. Luckily, he went for 12 rebounds, no assists, so just barely cashed that for us. Disappointing, man. The Suns situation is just very unfortunate as a Suns fan. We'll see if we can get something rolling in Phoenix. But yeah, I don't know what to say, man. The Suns they don't look like themselves right now. At least the way they've been playing against the Wolves all year. It looks like the Wolves figured out the proper adjustments come playoff time. So we'll see how things go in Phoenix. But all right, so let's talk about these plays. So I'm going to start with my Prize Picks options. Before I do, though, if you guys haven't signed up for Daily Grind yet, the DFS Optimizer is absolutely worth every penny. It will help you cash more, absolutely. And it's essentially a tool that shows you the best plays available, and it updates by the minute. So it updates quickly. And then it also shows you the play they like. It gives you an odds to hit. And then it also gives you their own daily grind odds. And it shows you what every other platform is giving you that line at, and what the odds are on those platforms. So it's a very helpful tool. It'll absolutely help you cash more. And if you go to dgfantasy.com and you use code BACKDOOR, they're giving all of our viewers 25% off of that tool and any other tool that they have. But it's only for your first month. So if you want to take advantage of all of those tools, you'll want to use the code and get whatever tools you want on your first month, because you won't be able to reapply it. But yeah, dgfantasy.com, or there's a link in the description of the video if you want to check that out. All right, so Herbert Jones, we'll start here. Take a look at his assists. All right, so he's got back-to-back games with 4 assists, and he's gone for 4 assists in 3 out of his last 5 games. This is like, this isn't like a super exciting play, but 2.5 is just too low for me to pass it up. If we take a look at the matchup, it looks tough on paper, obviously. OKC is not easy to play against. They're number 1 in the West for a reason. They're second in assists allowed to small forwards. But I feel like he can get this done again, especially because the defense they're playing is kind of forcing him a little bit more to pass the ball. But I feel good about him getting 3 for us today. If we take a look at daily grind here, they have this as his best play on Prize Picks. 53.54% odds to hit on the DFS optimizer. Excuse me. And then they have the odds set all the way up at -135. And we've got some mixed emotions here. Like FanDuel has this at a 50-50 shot. BetMGM has this all the way up at -140. Caesars -139. So we've got like a lot of platforms that are heavily juicing this to go over. It looks like FanDuel is the only one that has it somewhat of a 50-50 shot. But once again, Daily Grind has it at a -135, which is pretty high odds for the optimizer. So they're feeling good about it going over. If we take a look at his, actually, I'll go to DeLon right real quick. So on his assists, he's gone over this 3 out of his last 5 for staying on the Prize Picks first. If we take a look at the matchup, they're just a little bit above average. Boston, actually, when it comes to points, point guards and assists allowed, they're 10th in the league. And he's listed as a point guard, but he's kind of bouncing around between shooting guard too. He's been getting a lot more minutes since Jimmy Butler went out, but he's getting those minutes because he's knocking down shots. So in that first game against Boston, he went for 25.6 minutes with 4.2 potential assists, and he was able to cash 3 of those. So I feel good about him getting this done again. 2.5 is a very low line, and he was popping off. He dropped 5 threes against them in that first game, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check here. Yeah, 5 threes. So they're going to have to show him a little bit more attention, and I think he's going to have to dish it out a little bit more than he did in game 1, but he still went for 3 assists in game 1. So I'm feeling good about him going for at least 3 in this game. And if we look at the optimizer for right here, they have this as his best play on Prize Picks as well. They're not giving us much on Prize Picks. They're giving us blocks and steals and assists. So 2.5 assists, I'll take that all day. 53.27% odds to hit on the optimizer, and they have it at a -136. And it looks like everyone that has this at 2.5 has it juiced at -130 or higher. So everybody that has this available is feeling good about these assists going over. If we go back to Herb Jones now for underdog, had to take his rebounds and assists because they didn't have just his assists alone. But I feel good about this too because it's showing us on Outlier here at 6.5, but it's actually at 7 is what we're getting it on Underdog. And I know that because of the data, this is probably slightly favored to go under on the optimizer. It is at 7. They have it at a -130 to go under. It's because a lot of platforms have this at 6.5 and Underdog has this boosted up to 7. So go with your gut. As always, if you're ever uncomfortable with the plays that we're putting out, just fade them. You don't have to tail every pick that we put out, obviously. But I'm going to be taking the over here on underdog because I'm feeling good about it, considering that he just went for 7 rebounds alone in that first game. I'm sorry, was that the second? No, they happened to play OKC a couple times. I think this is game 3. Is it, or is this game 2?
I think it's game 2.
It is game 2. Yeah, I had that confused. I had it on the head-to-head. It was just showing all of them. But yeah, in that first game against OKC, he went for 7 rebounds alone and 4 assists. So I think rebounds and assists together, I like his odds of going over 7, at least getting 7. The matchup, just like we said before, is a little bit tough. OKC is pretty solid. They are 7th in rebounds allowed and 2nd in assists allowed, just small forwards. So we still have Zion Williamson out. We know that Herb is going to still get his minutes, but because of his defense, he tends to get his minutes anyways. He's averaging 33 minutes a game over the last 5 games. And he played 33 minutes in that first game against OKC. So go with your gut, but I'm going to be taking the over here. And it looks like DeLon Wright's points are getting bumped. I'm sure they'll be back. Maybe they're getting bumped. They're just grayed out on underdog at the moment. But I know they'll be back at some point. And even if they're bumped up a little bit, I still like this play to go over. If they come back at 5.5, I really like it to go over. He went for 17 points in that game against Boston. And it's because they actually have a pretty soft spot when it comes to points and point guards. 21st in points allowed to point guards. If he does jump over to the shooting guard position, it is a little bit tighter, 5th in points allowed. But yeah, I feel good about him going over 5.5. Even if this went up to 6 or 6.5, I'm still comfortable taking it personally, since he dropped 5 threes. And if you've been watching these games, he's a really good shooter from beyond the arc, shooting 67% over his last 5 games. So I'm feeling very comfortable with this, even if it comes back at 6 or 6.5. If we take a look at the DFS optimizer on underdog for this play, so at 5.5, if we get it back at that, they do have this slightly favored to go over on the optimizer at -120. It's a 50.49% odds to hit the over. So if this gets bumped up to 6, this will probably show it being favored to the under. So go with your gut. But I wouldn't be surprised if across the board, everyone starts bumping this up to like 6, maybe 6.5. But if you can get it at 5.5, that's great. If it comes back at 6, I'm still comfortable taking it, like I said, all the way up to 6.5. So those are the 2 plays I'm going with for Prize Picks and Underdog. If you guys are interested in checking out this app Outlier, it's very helpful. Just gives you all things stats-wise, gives you injury reports and insights about the players. There's a lot you can do with this. If you just go through the link in the description of the video, you can try this out free for 7 days. So Outlier is just going to let you give it a test run for a week. Cool. So I'll pass it over to you, Jordy.
Sweet. Yeah, man. So Valanciunas, I'll start with him. I like his rebounds over 11.5 and his rebounds assists on underdog. Looks like Caleb Martin's getting that 0.5 point bump as well. Let's see. No, he stayed the same. Okay. DeLon Wright stayed the same as well.
Cool.
So he still got both of those at 0.5. But anyway, on Prize Picks, I'm taking Valanciunas for over 11.5 rebounds. I feel good about this. The kind of consensus on the day is that he is going to go under this line. But honestly, like, if you guys watched the last matchup, he completely bullied Chet. Chet does not weigh enough to hang in there with Valanciunas in the rebounding. Chet still did well rebounding the ball, but Valanciunas, man, I mean, what did he have rebound attempts wise? He had 27 potential rebounds in that matchup, and he went for 20 rebounds and 20 rebounds in that last game and 2 assists. So, I mean, he just looked completely dominant. That was kind of what we were saying. Like, why are they letting this guy sit so long when he's like one of the best? Like, in my opinion, if the guy had a whole season, I think he's one of the better bigs in the league. But great matchup for him. 23rd in rebounds, 27th in assists. This team, they kind of struggle against those big physical bigs when it comes to reboundings. So I love his rebounds to go over in this matchup. It is juiced to go under. It's a 22 or 52.36% chance and a -128 to go under. So if you like the under, go ahead. But I'm taking the over all day on this one. His rebounds and assists, kind of the same situation, 52% to go under, but I'll be taking the over on this one for sure. So yeah, that kind of covers Valanciunas. I mean, the sample size over the last 20 games looks terrible, but look at his minutes in these games. Like, they were not giving the dude his typical minutes, and now if you look at the last game, he played almost 30 minutes and he had 20 rebounds and 2 assists. So I mean, that's just the kind of thing we were saying all year long when he had such a dominant first half of the year. But yeah, so anyway, moving on to Caleb Martin. Actually, so I'm taking his rebounds assists on underdog. I feel the same way about it. I mean, it's just with Valanciunas, I feel great about him going over that 13.5 line. He could do it in rebounds alone, but he does get some assists in here. Like, he had 2 in the last game, 3 in the game before that. So the dude can assist the ball really well, actually. So I like him to go over that. Caleb Martin's points. I think Caleb Martin's going to have a bounce back game. I mean, they're kind of expecting this guy to be what he was last year. His minutes are kind of coming up too over the last 2 games. They need him to start scoring, and I think he'll kind of pull it together here. He only had 4 points in the last game, but he shot 2 for 6, so he had more opportunities. Like, if you look at last year when they were in the playoffs against them, the dude was getting 16, 15 attempts, and he was doing really well. I mean, he's getting 25 points, 18 points. Like, I think they'll kind of slowly get him back into that role. I'm hoping he at least gets like 12 shot attempts tonight, or 15 in that range. We'll see, but I think he can hit this line for us. This one is juiced to go over on underdog as well. At the 7.5 line, we got a minus 131. Some people have this up at a minus 154. I feel great about his points as well. Obviously, we're getting that half a point bump on Prize Picks. I feel good about him at least pushing or going over, so I'm going to be taking this as well. I think if he gets, 8 points, I think he'll go over that, honestly. So I'd like him to go over the 8 and the 7. The 7.5 is the sweetest deal for sure. That's why we're getting those crazy odds on it. But yeah, I feel good about the 7 points, the 7.5, but I feel great about the 8 as well. If we want to look at, like I said, he's been struggling for sure over the last 5 games or so. But it all depends on just the shots he's making. He's not really getting fouled a lot either. That's another problem. But I think he can get this done for us tonight. He went 0 for 4 from 3. That's just a really bad performance. And then he made his only 2 2-pointers. So we'll just hope he has a better game tonight. But I'm going to be taking this one for sure because that line is so low. And I know what Caleb Martin's capable of. So that 8 and 7.5 seems really low for me. So that's the 2 I've got.
All right. Well, I just double checked. All of these plays are available on Sleeper. So if you end up signing up for Sleeper and taking advantage of that $500 deposit match, all these are available on Sleeper as well. And if you guys haven't signed up for Chalkboard yet, it's awesome. You can actually take these lines and you can adjust them to whatever alternate line you prefer. And the higher you make the line, obviously you get a higher payout. The lower you make it, you get a lower payout. But if you use code BACKDOOR, they're going to give you a deposit match up to $100. There's a link in the description of the video for that as well. If you guys are interested in checking out our Discord, we've linked everything up through Patreon now, so it's a little bit easier to join. There's a link in the description of the video. We've been having a lot of fun in here. We have just a really killer community. They've been up all morning just discussing plays already. And yeah, follow us on our socials as well. All of that is in the link of the description of the video, guys. If you guys want to check any of that out, we have all of our promo codes. We have all of our socials, and we have the links to our Discord and everything all in there if you guys want to check it out. But we hope you enjoy this small slate, and yeah, we'll catch you soon in the next video.
Good luck, guys.